Okay, this is my grandpa Mel right here, and this is my grandma Jan. Both two very good people, loving people, and they're my grandparents. And okay, first question: Are you or were you married, and did you have a family? Describe the family.
We married to what?
Uh, yes, we've been married for 56 years.
56.
And we have two grown children and two grandsons. Yes, it is a very loving family.
Where and when were you born?
I was born September 23rd, 1939, in Los Angeles, California, at Queen of the Angels Hospital. So that's why I'm such a nice guy.
Grandma?
And I was born December 2nd, 1943, in Berea, Ohio.
Are you the first generation to be born in the U.S.? If not, do you know who was?
I'm not the first. I know my father was born here. My mother was born here. My grandfather, I think, was born here. One of my grandfathers, but one of my grandfathers from one side of the family, I've been told, was Robert E. Lee. Don't know if that's good or bad, but that's what I've been told.
I was first generation in the United States. I have there's four siblings in my family, and both of my parents were born outside of the country.
Can you remember August 6th and August 9th, 1945, when America dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan? How do you think the U.S. changed following this event?
Well, at that age, I wasn't thinking too much about that, other than my father was an air raid warden here when we were living in Monterey Park. And I remembered that very vividly, but as far as the bomb dropping, didn't know anything about it at that time.
Well, I was 2 years old, so at that time, I don't have any recollection of it. I do think that history shows that did change our involvement in the war, and it did make a difference in the outcome of the war.
What do you remember about November 22nd, 1963, when John F. Kennedy was assassinated? Many people have said hope in America died a little that day. Do you agree, and how did America change?
Well, I remember exactly where I was at, where I was standing when I first heard about that, and yes, this country did change because something like that had never happened before, and it did change the way people were thinking, and it changed the world, I believe, and that's all I can say about that.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
How about the Vietnam War? Do you think America had lost trust in the federal government by the end of the war, and if so, has this trust ever been won back?
The Vietnam War, I'm not sure the truth about the Vietnam War, but I know the veterans that fought the Vietnam War, it was their duty to do as they were told and fight, and and then come home. A lot of them did not come home, but they were just following their orders to do that. The politics behind it, I don't know the politics behind it.
I guess I'll second that.
How do you think the world's perception of the United States changed on July 20th, 1969, when we put the first men on the moon?
First man on the moon, that was a giant step for mankind, and to reach the moon, something that's been thought about for many years, and a lot of people had looked into it and tried it, but we were the ones that did it.
But it put us at the top of the space quest.
Yep.
How do you think the world looked at the U.S. following Nixon's resignation on August 8th, 1974, in response to the Watergate scandal?
Well, Nixon is one that got caught doing what he did. I'm sure a lot of things similar to what he had done had been done in the past. But he's the one that got caught, and they were trying to set an example with him.
I think we're finding more and more about what goes on within government, and it isn't always what it seems. So I think there's so much more that we could know about what's happened in the past. And maybe this is the time that a lot of that's going to come out.
Probably. I agree. In what way do you think our nation changed on November 9th, 1989, when the Berlin Wall came down, effectively ending the Cold War?
Oh, that was jubilation across the United States.
That was not just across the United States, but
across the world.
Yes, that was across the world. To take down that wall, and
Reagan will always be.
Yep.
He will. When you think of his presidency, you think of the Berlin Wall coming down, and what the Cold War ending allowed the economy of the countries to zoom ahead, because it wasn't a war economy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. What do you remember about September 11th, 2001, when the country experienced the terrorist attacks on the Pentagon and World Trade Center? How was America changed by this?
Well, this country doesn't want to admit to it, but yes, it did change. It changed the way people look at other people and their beliefs. And what was done to us was a group of people that are radical. And it's just like some of the radicals today, not all of them are radical, but some of them are, and those are the ones that did this, and we must not ever forget. And the leader that they follow, and if they go by their book that guides them in this life, that it doesn't simulate with our values here in this country.
I don't think people in our country thought that could happen in this country, and I think it woke up a lot of people. It drew together New York City in a way that had never probably been united before, and for quite a while there was quite a sense of brotherhood where people were united against the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Finally, it is said that every American citizen has a dream, be it wealth, happiness, a better life for their children, etc. What was your dream, and how do you think you achieved it?
Well, one of my dreams was that my kids would turn out to be good people and respected, and that they would have children that would be good people and respected. And I think I've accomplished that.
I think so. I think it's been a good life.
Wow.
So I think the event that had the greatest impact on our nation during my lifetime was the Boston Marathon bombings, because I thought it changed our security level in this nation, and I believe that it changed our nation to bring us together and kind of fight a new force that was bring themselves together to defeat us. So I think that's one of the most important events during my lifetime, and I see as our place, or as my place in the future, as somebody who can succeed a lot in this world and can become a figure that is powerful and can influence other people to do good. And I'm hoping to accomplish many things, be able to create kind of a following for myself and be able to influence other people to do better and to make their lives better based on mine. And my American dream is to have a successful business, have a good family, and be able to provide for them and make the most out of the rest of my life.